Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tejano Traveler. I'm your host Wally, and today we are learning some Texas history, some South Texas border history to be exact. We are talking about the Republic of the Rio Grande. The Republic of the Rio Grande lasted less than a year in 1840. Laredo, Texas was considered its capital, and while it may not have lasted that long, it does have some pretty interesting history, especially if you're really into South Texas history. Three events were particularly instrumental in the creation of this new republic. The first being the Mexican Constitution of 1824. This constitution established a federation which granted more power to the individual states. The second event was, of course, the independence of Texas and all it entailed. Now, this victory for Texas was very decisive, but it still left the borders a bit ambiguous. The third event was Mexican President Santa Anna and his attempt to start a centralized republic with more power in the capital than in the states. After Texas independence, the map looked like this. There was Texas and there was disputed Texas. And this strip of land south of the Nueces but north of the Rio Grande, known as the Nueces Strip, decided to take matters into their own hands. Our story starts here in Laredo on the Rio Grande. Here, military commander Antonio Canales issues his proclamation of November 3rd against Santa Anna and his centralized government, which he didn't really like. He called for arms and for people to stand up and rise against him. So Canales goes out and gathers an army of Mexicans, Americans, Texans, Texians, Tejanos, and even Native Americans. It was during this time that Canales was able to recruit two important men to his cause: Samuel Jordan, renowned Texas fighter who apparently fought everybody from Native Americans, bandidos, Mexicans, and even Sam Houston himself, and Antonio Zapata, former sheepherder, turned wealthy ranchero, turned revolutionary, turned cavalry commander. This takes us to the first skirmish of the war with Mexico. On October 3rd, 1839, Canales and his army attacked the Mexican town of Mier, encircling the Mexican forces inside an hacienda. After their surrender, the 300 Mexican soldiers sought it over and, with some incentives, defected to Canales' army. This made Canales a hero and he got more support. After 40 days, he headed to Matamoros with his grand army of 1,000 men and realized they were about to fight a Mexican army that was much larger. So they decided to make to Monterrey instead. Here they sent Zapata to engage famed Mexican general Arista while Canales took over a convent. But in a turn of events, Arista bribed the Mexican army under Canales to switch sides. This made Canales flee back into Laredo, vastly outnumbered. Despite these setbacks, representatives from Coahuila, Nuevo León, and Tamaulipas met in Laredo to establish the new Republic of the Rio Grande. Their flag was a red bar with three white stripes on the left and a black and white bar to the right. They even had a motto: God, liberty, and of course Constitution, because ultimately the Constitution is what they were fighting for. Three of the most important figures would end up being Jose de Cardenas, president, couldn't find his pick, Antonio Canales as commander-in-chief, and Antonio Zapata, cavalry commander. Soon after the new republic was formed, Mexican General Arista met Canales near Santa Rita de Morelos. Mariano Arista would be the general that vexed the republic the most after challenging Canales himself several times. While Arista and Canales skirmished, Zapata and 30 of his men were sent to find provisions and were ultimately captured, outnumbered 1,800 to 30. Zapata was offered a pardon if he swore allegiance to Mexico, but he refused. On March 29, 1940, Zapata was executed and his head placed on a pike in Guerrero, Mexico for all to see. Meanwhile, Canales lost 250 of his 400 men and retreated back into Texas, hoping to find any help he could. The Republic of Texas was in a very particular corner. Just having gained independence from Mexico about 4 years earlier, they couldn't just support the new republic. On one hand, a buffer state between them and Mexico would be advantageous. On the other, why anger Mexico further? But then again, did Texas even know their own borders? President Lamar's hands were mostly tied, but he did secretly encourage support and did provide arms for this new republic. With help from Texans, Native Americans, and Federalist Mexicans, Canales was able to come back and recapture Laredo, Guerrero, Mier, and other smaller towns. Then they marched to Saltillo, but unbeknownst to Canales, his own brother-in-law and general secretly switched sides. Not only that, but his other general, Lopez, had betrayed them as well, leading the Republic army into a trap. Jordan realized this and makes a daring escape with the Republic army running back to Laredo. But for all intent and purposes, the war was over. After these crushing defeats, Canales secretly meets with General Arista on November 6, 1840. Canales surrendered, accepting a position in the Mexican army. As part of the surrender, no harm would come to those of the Republic, and all debts would go to Mexico. Days later, the leaders of the Republic entered Laredo and officially surrendered as well. The Republic of the Rio Grande was no more, and here ends our story. And up to this day, the people of Laredo, Texas remember this. We always say that we are one city under 7 flags instead of the usual 6 flags of Texas. So, what legacy is left behind for all this fighting and sacrifice? Well, we have the Museum of the Republic of the Rio Grande at what was said to be the Capitol building at San Agustin Plaza. This museum has been here for ages, and as a proud Laredoan, born and raised here, I am ashamed to say that it took me 45 years to finally visit this place. But coming here and seeing all this history and reading up on it and seeing all the different displays made me connect to it more. I don't think it would have meant as much to me if I would have visited as a kid, as a just student in elementary, coming and seeing this. But now knowing the history, realizing that I know some of these pictures, I know some of these events, I know who these people are, and how it all fits into Texas history and South Texas history, it just makes me a bit more proud to be from this place. And I still feel a sense of pride when I see this flag. It's like my own personal flag. Not everybody has this flag that represents them. And coming here to this museum reaffirms all that. So, if you get a chance, if you're ever in Laredo, come to this museum, check it out, learn the history, and definitely remember our leader, Antonio Jose Zapata, who sacrificed himself for us, for freedom. His head is somewhere out there. I hope they have a ghost in Guerrero Viejo over him. And I don't know who this guy is, but he seemed kind of cool when I was here. While you're there, make sure to check out the San Agustin Plaza so you can see some more of the old Laredo that we all know and love, and get to see some of the sights. I love this plaza. I wish more people would visit it. As for our hero, Antonio Zapata, he has a whole town named after him, so you can go check it out. They also have a museum there where you can find out some more history about the Republic of the Rio Grande. It looks small, but it is an amazing museum, so go check it out. And the old town that was named after him was eventually replaced and brought here. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. Hope you've been enjoying some of these history videos that I've been making. And don't forget to like, comment, and most of all, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.